Hello, everyone. It's Cream, aka Ms. Cream of the Crop. Last Friday, I attended the public opening of Maxmillian Peralta's exhibition Living Room. Not only did I view really cool art, but I also had the opportunity to do an impromptu interview with the artist. If you're interested in finding out more about the Living Room exhibition and more about Maximilian himself, continue watching because the interview starts now. Hey guys, it's Cream, aka Ms. Cream of the Crop, and I'm here with the artist Max or Maximilian, and we're at his public opening of his exhibition, The Living Room. So he was so graciously honoring me to be able to ask him about his exhibition today. So I'm really excited. I love the photos and I mean, not the photos, but the paintings.
They could trick you, yeah.
It can't trick me, but I love the paintings, and what I love the most about them is the realism of them. Because there's so many rooms where everyone can say, "Oh my God, my living room looks like this, my kitchen looks like this," or "I wish I had these windows." So, what was the inspiration behind these pieces?
Yeah, I think there's something to be said about like spending an exorbitant amount of time to paint something very naturalistically that is sort of like just like a very unassuming image, you know, like an empty room or an empty bathroom or like a vacuum cleaner, you know. I think there's something that's interesting to me about spending that amount of time and dedication to the image. But a lot of this is just, I sort of realized that this is, especially with the soundtrack and stuff, like a pretty angry show. I think it really has to do with like the renting life, you know, like of the feelings of like being a guest in your own house because you don't own it, you know, like, so I think a lot of those sort of illustrate sort of the anxiety of that existence of being like not, you know, like your limited experience within a space. You can't like paint over the walls or change anything, like, because the landlord owns the spot, you know, he'll get you in trouble. But, so I think that's a lot of what chose what I was painting was like these sort of images that speak to me that are very anxiety inducing and they make me feel, I don't know, sometimes very angry.
And you know, I'm glad that you mentioned that and you explained it that way, because now that you explained your inspiration behind all the paintings, it makes sense, because a lot of the rooms feel unfinished, but filled with things that mean a lot to people. Because you were saying, like, when you're rented and you're angry, you're like, this is my space, but it's not really my space. It's kind of like you don't feel impelled to decorate as much as you would if you knew you could paint a wall, knock a wall down, hang up paintings. So I guess that's why some of the rooms seem so unfinished. But then there are rooms that you could tell that have personality, like the kitchen with the flowing curtains. And some of the rooms feel like, as you said, if it's a rented space, it's like, this may be a rented space, but I want to make it still feel like my home. So you can tell which rooms were purposeful and feeling like a home and which ones were like, you know what? I'm so mad this isn't my place. I'm just going to put a weight here. I'm going to put my laptop over here, and I'm going to watch movies with Wi-Fi. And I think a lot of people can relate to that. So that's why I was saying, like, these paintings feel like real life, especially after the pandemic. During the pandemic, I think a lot of people can relate to this show.
I think,
tell me about the walls, like the open walls.
Like you mentioned that, like, some of the places seem lived in, and I wanted it to live. The paintings themselves housed in something that's lacking shelter and insulation, sort of like, you know, like you mentioned, I think the paintings really speak to class and like a type of person. Like, that is a rented place. Like, I have so many experiences watching movies on illegal websites on my little laptop, you know, streamed to the TV, you know. So like, I think it speaks to the type of person in class. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. But yeah, like, I also thought that it was like a real experimental way to sort of play with the idea of the white cube and like how paintings are usually displayed and shown. And like just removing all of the drywall, all the insulation, all of the things that hide the imperfections. I wanted stuff that showed the handiwork, like show that these are hand painted and that this isn't an installation that is like built and it's purposeful and there's like a person behind it. It doesn't just like, these paintings don't just like fall from the sky. Like, there's a lot of attention to detail and deliberate, you know, action spent making I love that. And every time you answer a question, it sparks even more things in my mind. Like we were talking about the open walls and showing that this place has a foundation and you want to show that foundation. And thinking of a rented space, how a lot of slumlords will cover up
a horrible foundation with good paint.
Yep.
But once you get in there, you're like, there's holes behind this drywall. This
Sure.
is not. So I kind of like that idea of you having like, this is showing a really good foundation. So I really appreciate that you took the time to talk to me. I know a lot of people are waiting to talk to you, but I really appreciate you answering these questions, and it gave me even more of a feel for what this exhibition is all about. So thank you. And one last thing I want to point out is I love in the program how you have the exhibition drawn out as like
floor plan.
Like a floor plan. I love that. I just love all the intentionality behind all of it. And it's kind of like you got to really be paying attention to all the things to really notice all the things that you did.
Yeah.
So I love that.
I think artwork should reward people for spending more time with it.
Yeah.
You know? So like the fact that you notice that, I feel like it rewards you. So, but it's my pleasure to. I'm so happy to answer questions about the show.
Thank you so much.